icebreaker. Our next speaker is Arman C. He's currently a system engineer for JP Morgan. He's looking to pursue his master's degree. He, of course, is in the Competent Communicator Manual doing Project 1, this icebreaker, and his title is 4 Stages. I present Arman Chaudhry. 4 Stages.
The comb over, the buzz cut, the part right down the middle, and the spikes. What do all 4 of these terms have in common? There we go. Claudia mentioned that they're all certain types of hairstyles. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take it a step further, and I'm going to explain these hairstyles as different stages of my life. Chapter 1, the comb over. I call this stage conformity. I grew up in a very small village in Bangladesh. It was known as Noakhali. It was a very tight-knit community. Everyone knew each other. There was no internet, social media. Everyone overall knew everybody's business. The most important thing inside the village was your reputation, which is why you wanted to be known for something positive. Now for the young boys, there were 2 types of hairstyles that they could adopt. It was either the comb over or the shaggy hair. The comb over represented someone that was disciplined, hardworking, and had a good future down the line. The shaggy hair represented someone that was feckless, someone that was doomed for a bad future. So which haircut do you think my parents made me get? The comb over. The comb over. And I would never classify conforming to the village standards as a bad thing. I would actually classify that as a positive thing, because it made me feel as though there was a camaraderie among the rest of my peers. We had something in common, and those are people that I still call brothers to this day. I enjoyed my time in Noakhali, but one day my dad came up to my brother and I and said that all of our paperwork has been approved and we are going to be moving to the US. Chapter 2, the buzz cut. Basically, we moved from Noakhali to the complete opposite, which was Miami, Florida, which is where I was raised for the next couple of years. Here, I noticed that there was a lot of differences from Bangladesh as opposed to Miami. A lot.
Just a few.
Just a few. One of them was the language barrier. My brother and I both had very, very heavy accents originally coming into the country. Something else was societal differences. And last but not least, stylistic differences. A haircut that was really revered in Bangladesh, the comb over, was mainly mocked in kindergarten with the rest of my peers. Most of my classmates would say that the comb over, that's the same haircut that my dad has. That's the same haircut that my grandpa has. And eventually made it very difficult to be approached by others. Which is why my brother and I both went up to our parents one day and said, you know what, Mom? We really want to fit in, and the only way that we will fit in is to not stick out too much. Which is why my brother and I both did the most average haircut you could possibly think of, the buzz cut. And this haircut symbolizes transition. It was a transition from us becoming Bengalis to Bengali Americans. And I had this haircut all the way up until high school, and I truly do believe it served its purpose. Chapter 3, the part down the middle. For those of you guys who don't know what the part down the middle is, it's the haircut where it parts and probably hits your shoulder, maybe longer. So chapter 3 is the part down the middle, and that represents change. As you guys can see, the chapter 1, I was trying to conform to the village standards. Chapter 2, I was trying to transition into the lifestyle of my fellow peers. But this stage in my life, where I was a junior in high school, I wanted to be more different. I didn't just want to fit in. Actually, I wanted to do quite the opposite. I wanted to stick out. And that's exactly what happened. Within this year, I tried to experiment with new things. For example, my entire life, I had a certain idea for a major that I wanted to choose. But this was the year where I explored different options. My entire life, I associated myself with a certain group of people. And this was the year where I expanded my friend circle. And throughout my entire life, I would eat certain kinds of food. This is the year that I expanded as well, which is why stage 3 represents change. Now, as good as change is, eventually you want to reach a stage where you've gotten all the growth you wanted from the change. However, you want to go past that, which carries me over to stage 4. And that is the spikes, which represent growth and maturation. By my senior year in high school, I was accepted into USF, and I slowly realized that I was going to pursue my career in electrical engineering. And eventually I realized I would eventually be admitted into College of Engineering. I would have to do internships. I would have to hold e-board positions for my fraternity. I was in the process of starting 2 organizations in USF, one being Bengali Student Association, the other being EMS, which is Engineering for Multicultural Students, which is why I had to adopt more of a professional look, which is why I switched it up to the spikes, which is more of a standard professional look because it's smaller and you can go to a workforce presenting yourself that way. And I believe that set the platform for me to get my current job in JP Morgan as a systems engineer. And thus far, I believe all 4 stages are currently complete. You guys may be wondering which stage I currently am in. I'm sure a lot of people are leaning towards stage 4. Well, that's partially it. To be honest, I would consider myself a combination of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because to this day, I still consider myself that small boy living in the village trying to conform with his peers. I still consider myself the young boy that wanted to transition into an American lifestyle. I still consider myself that adolescent that wanted to gain experience by being different. And I still consider myself the person that hopefully is consistently maturing. So from the beginning I asked, what do all 4 of these terms represent? And you guys said hairstyles. Hopefully at this point, the hairstyles represent the different stages in my life. Thank you.